Welcome to Coffee with the Candidates. We are talking with current County Commissioner Dan Klimisch, who is running for re-election. June 7th is the election date, but if you want to go vote in advance down at the County Government Center, down in the County Commission chambers, you are able to absentee vote. On June 7th, your locations are going to be Yankton City Hall, Yankton Fire Station number 2, Gayville Community Center, Mayfield Store, Lesterville Fire Hall, or Lewis and Clark Recreation Area. So Dan, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, it's a pleasure to be here.
So why don't you go ahead and share a little bit about yourself, or people who don't know you, with our viewing audience.
I'd be happy to. My name is Dan Klimisch. I am a 6th generation farmer. I'm a combat veteran, retired Army officer. I've served multiple overseas tours of duty and proud recipient of the Bronze Star for my actions in Iraq, which is one of our nation's highest awards. My family has deep roots in this community. My great-great-grandfather homesteaded here in the 1880s, and we've been here ever since because Yankton is such an amazing community. On my other side, my Viborny side, we've been here for 150 years, and my great-great-grandpa Viborny was the first mayor of Tabor. So deep roots in the community, and I hope that my children and my great-grandchildren will be here for another 150 years. One of the reasons I'm running for County Commission for re-election is I just want the positive momentum that I've seen over the last few years to stay. I love this community and I want to make it better.
So can you tell us, in your opinion, what is the most important role of a county commissioner?
The most important role I feel for a county commissioner is you need to be able to listen to the citizens and hear what they have to say. I'm proud that I've received hundreds of emails and hundreds of phone calls over the last few years, and I've been able to generally help people either understand an issue or help to resolve the problem they have. It doesn't always happen, but even when I disagree with other people or have a different opinion, they are thankful that I at least heard them out and heard their side of the story. And so I feel one of the most important things we can do is just listen to each other and try to understand.
So what skills do you have that differentiate you from the other candidates?
Well, first off, I'm a serving county commissioner. I've done this for 3.5 years, so I am up to speed on everything that the county is doing. That's the biggest advantage, because at being a county commissioner, experience matters. In addition to being a current county commissioner, I also served on the planning commission for over 5 years. In addition to that, I have served this community in the James River Water Development District for 10 years, 7 years as chair. So I have a vast knowledge of public leadership in the Yankton County community. I've also been elected by my fellow county commissioners to serve on the executive board for this County Commissioner Association of South Dakota. It's a big honor to be nominated by fellow county commissioners. Out of the 66 counties, they voted to elect me as treasurer and serve on the executive board. And it's a really benefit for Yankton County because I get to work one-on-one with our state legislators and our state committee on projects that help not just Yankton County, but all counties in the state. And I'm pretty proud of that. If I didn't have enough to do, last month in March, I was elected the president of the Southeast South Dakota Association of County Officials. And that covers 8 county area: Minnehaha, Lincoln, Union County, Clay County, Yankton, Turner County, Bonhomme, and Hutchinson. And so in that position, I feel I'm going to try to bring more collaboration of resources to the counties. And it's just a great honor to be elected by your fellow officials to serve in those positions. And so that's what I bring, is experience and an attitude of working hard. I also serve on the library board as the representative for the county, on the center board as the county representative, and I also serve on the Yankton County Historical Society board. So I'm very involved in the local community.
As well as having a family that takes up
Yes.
plenty of your time as well.
And I should mention that, sorry Amy, I didn't mention this earlier, but I have a wonderful wife who's very supportive, Amy, and my 4 children who support me in this endeavor, and I couldn't do it without them.
So there have been a lot of conversations about zoning in Yankton County. Can you share some of your thoughts?
Sure. Every place that has zoning has controversy. And that's one of the things I've seen. What's opened my eyes serving at the state level on the association board. Right now there's controversy in Lincoln County dealing with CAFOs. Minnehaha County right now has controversy with CO2 pipelines. Turner County has had some Supreme Court cases again dealing with hog confinements. Spink County just had one. Bonhome County has had some controversy, and they just actually increased their CAFO setbacks in Bonhome County. So I feel if you have zoning at all, you're eventually gonna run into some issues. But I think it's important to realize that the very definition of zoning and why we have it is to have orderly growth and protect the safety, health, and welfare of the citizens of the community. That's why we have it. It's not a perfect system. I certainly wish that it was, but it's not. It's the best system that we have. And that's why it's important to have leaders and planning commissioners in the community that understand the importance of zoning and how it's a benefit to the community.
So can you share your thoughts on Yankton County having a full or part-time county administrator?
Sure. This has been discussed before, and there are a few counties that have them. First off, how are we going to afford it? The county's budget, especially this year, is very tight. To get somebody into that position that's willing to take that responsibility, in my opinion, it's going to be a $100,000 to $150,000 a year job, if we could find somebody willing to do that. And as a county, are we better off hiring a person to do that, or are we better off hiring 2 or 3 deputy sheriffs that can go out on patrol? Second question, I guess, to that is, well, what would this individual do? Would they be in charge of all departments? Would they be in charge of an individual department? What is their role? Because there isn't really a lot of day-to-day operations with the commission. We have department heads that handle that business. And then county government is fundamentally different than a lot of other governments. One thing that I learned as a county official is that we have department heads who are elected. Our auditor, treasurer, register of deeds, state's attorney, sheriff, in addition to your 5 commissioners, they're all elected by you guys, the citizens of Yankton County and the people. And if you feel those offices aren't doing what they should do, then as citizens, we have the right to go to an election and choose somebody else. I also wonder how it would work with a county administrator to have a non-elected county administrator placed in charge of an elected official. I know other counties have had issues with that. Would a county administrator be able to tell the sheriff how to run the jail? I would think that wouldn't happen. And so there are places for county administrators, certainly with the bigger counties like Minnehaha, but at this time, I don't see that as something that's needed in Yankton County. I will caveat off that and say in 2019, we did hire a commission assistant, which has been a great help. And Mr. Vetter is the director of the zoning office as well as a commission assistant. And that does a lot of the jobs that an administrator has. He has vast amounts of experience, over 30 years in public service, and he assists the commission. One issue that is, I didn't realize, but to communicate with your fellow commissioners to say, send out an email on us repealing the burn ban. As a county commissioner, I can't send that to all 5 commissioners because that would constitute a quorum, which is not allowed. So Mr. Vetter and the assistant has been crucial in providing communication links between the commission and then outside agencies. So he's been a real asset, and that has really helped to facilitate communication in the county.
So as I read in the paper today, there was a presentation on the sewer district out at the lake, and I apologize, I did not watch the meeting last night, so I'm not fully up to date on all of the details. But is that something that Gary Vetter then, as the commission assistant, would be leading if there's sewer plans for the lake, or who would actually take the lead on that project?
Yeah, it'd be whoever the commission decided. What we were able to do, myself, one of the things I stated when I ran 3 years ago is we need to look at this. Everybody realizes that to maintain growth in Yankton County, something needs to be done in the lake area. And we might disagree on exactly what that is. Myself, working with Mr. Vetter, were able to secure not 1, but 2 grants from the state of South Dakota and another one from the James River Water Development District to have this 15 to 20-year-old study updated absolutely free for 0 cost to the Yankton County budget. My thought is, why not do it? Let's study the problem and see if we can get solutions involved in that. Just if you read the paper, you know that the South Dakota had $660 million available for wastewater projects. We ended up, the state of South Dakota got over $1 billion, including federal dollars. So now is really the time to look into something like this. How is that gonna look? We don't know yet. That's where we need the public's help. What does the public wanna see? What developers wanna see in that area? And it's really for the good of Yankton County.
So is it then like under Gary's department to file like the state water plan, or whose department? Because you don't have a utility department, which is something new. So I'm just asking the question because I think the public would like to just understand that a little bit more.
Yeah, it's really going to be the commission's decision on how that's going to go. And really, we have all the work done. It's ultimately going to come down to the citizens who live in that area and what they decide. If they want to move forward, they have the option to form a sanitary district and move that forward. But the good thing is a lot of the work and the expense is already done.
So management of the county budget is an integral part of the county's growth and development. What is the process that maybe you currently use or plan to use in creating a progressive yet responsible budget?
Yeah, I think we've done a great job with the budget. My philosophy when I started is go through the budget line by line, and that's something we've done each and every year. It takes a full day, sometimes 2 days, and there is just a ton of information to go over. All our department heads come in and present their budget and the reasons why their budget is, and we go over it in excruciating detail. I'm proud to say we even record the meetings, so if anybody wants to watch a 5 or 6 hour budget meeting, they're on our website, and we're going to start this process again in June. Budgeting, one of the most important things is understanding why the budget is how it is and having experience to know what the next step is. So we're lucky to have experienced staff like Patty Hoyam as auditor, who's had 35 years of experience. And when we ask these questions, she knows because she's been through the process so many times. Something that's really was eye-opening to me as a new commissioner is to realize that the vast majority of property taxes that are collected within Yankton County, 60% of it go to the school board. They don't go to the county. School board gets quite a bit of the property taxes, and the city gets some others, and various other entities. And there is very little discretionary spending left when it comes to the commission. By law, most of the taxes we collect have to go to the operation of the county. We have to have a sheriff's office. We have to house prisoners. We have to have a state's attorney's office, and we have to do court. and many, many, many other things. And at the end of the day, there is a very small pool of cash left at the commissioner's discretion. And so realizing that, knowing how to budget it, it's an absolutely crucial process. And it's eye-opening, and you learn a lot about your local government.
And while it might feel excruciating to the average person, actually listening to those budget meetings and trying to better understand both the county and city budget processes really is an important part of being involved in the community.
Exactly. It's where your tax dollars go and spent and why it's done that way.
Yeah, and it helps you understand the interplay between state budget and county budget and city budget, and how everybody plays a part in pulling together to make our community, both rural and within city limits, very, just vibrant.
Yep, a better place for everybody.
So does your political party affiliation really matter as a county commissioner?
That's a tough one. The county commissioner, it's really the first level of political affiliation. I'm running as a Republican. I'm a conservative, but I also work well with independent candidates. We also have some Democrats here, and I feel it's important, but we can't lose sight of who we are as individuals. No matter our party affiliation, we should be able to work well with anybody. And it seems like that is not a national trend, but maybe that's something we can change here locally. As political affiliation is important, but you should still be able to work with everybody for the good of our community.
So Yankton County's reputation around the state hasn't always been positive, and maybe you've heard that at some of your state board meetings with county commissioners or other elected officials. What will you do to help Yankton County be viewed in a better light?
Sure. Well, if you look at any county government, there's always controversy. I mean, we can look at the national government, our state government, county government, city government, school board. There's always a little controversy on that, and nobody is immune from that. Opponents will say that the county is viewed unfavorably, but I really haven't seen that, especially at the state level. I've had a lot of fellow county commissioners and legislators come up and say they're really proud of a lot of the great things that are happening in Yankton County. And, I think sometimes we dwell on negatives. Maybe we're our own worst critics, but there are a lot of positive things happening in county government. One thing that I've done to be more positive is gotten involved. Again, I was elected on the executive board for the County Commission Association, and in my capacity have worked with a lot of these other communities, and they work with us, and it's been a great experience.
So at times, and because you're already an elected official, you have been on the minority side of a vote that was passed by the majority. How do you continue to work with your fellow commissioners to support initiatives that you voted against, but were actually passed by the majority?
Sure, that's tough. It seems like more often than not lately I've been on the minority side, and that's just how it is. When you have a public meeting, you say what you feel is right, and you vote how you feel is right and what's going to do for the best for the community. But when the vote is done and the vote is cast, it's your obligation to support it to the best of your ability. And that's not always an easy thing, but it's for the good of the community.
So is there anything that you wanted to share with the voters listening and watching these videos that was not a part of the previously asked questions?
Sure. City and county relationship was a question on here. I think we skipped over that. But I'm
thank you for going back to that.
I gotta honestly say, I've really enjoyed working with the city and the county. I've served for the last 3+ years on the city-county joint board, and it's been an absolute pleasure. The city has a great professional staff, and I actually enjoy going to the meetings. I've had numerous people say that the relationship between the city and the county, the best it's been in a long time, and I'm glad to have been a part of that. You know, one example I'll give, and something I work with you on, Nancy, is a bunch of tax deeded properties. We had a bunch of blighted properties around town that were causing major concern for our citizens. One of them caught fire and almost burned down a neighbor's house. There had been an issue between the city and the county for going back 20 years on who was gonna take ownership of that, and working with Nancy, working with the city, working with the county, we overcame those obstacles. We put aside the past and we moved forward on properties that nothing had been done on for 20 years for the good of everyone. And now those properties are going to get redeveloped. There's going to be new families in there, and there's going to be taxes coming back to the city and the county. It's really an example of the positive relationship that we were able to do. Another example is our emergency management department. Unfortunately, we've had numerous disasters with the 2019 flooding in the city, and Cyclone Bomb, James River flooding, and then of course the global pandemic that we all survived. And that's another example where the emergency management and the county worked hand in hand with the city and our small towns. We literally rescued people and saved people's lives during the flooding, and we did it together. And that's something that all the citizens of the community, we should be proud of what we've accomplished together. You know, some of the other things that we've done that haven't been brought up is, you know, working together with our small towns. That's something I've taken a personal initiative in. I've attended every single one of our small town meetings and got to know their mayors. I have them all on speed dial and worked with them. And it's been positive because we've seen economic growth and development happen in our small towns, something that hasn't happened for, 40, 50 years. We got Utica is getting a new housing development. Lesterville is getting upgrades and new housing. Gayville is getting a new housing development. That benefits everybody. And that may not be in the city of Yankton, but our small towns are getting stronger too. And I'm happy to have a small part of that. And they're a vital asset to us. So it's great news.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here today. And I do apologize for skipping over that city-county question. So thank you for going back to that for us.
Can I do one more?
Absolutely.
Okay. And another thing I wanted to bring up is, my continued commitment to government transparency. It's a catchword. It's something people say, but it's something I've actually done. One of my initiatives I did right when I started was to first make sure all the Yankton County meetings are recorded. So they're recorded on YouTube and live streamed on Facebook. And that's been a huge success when we even allow people to call in and attend meetings virtually via Zoom. So you can attend a meeting in person or via Zoom or watch it live stream on Facebook. And all our meetings are recorded and posted so you can watch later. Second thing I did, which I'm pretty proud of, is I initiated not one, but 2 public comment periods. And as far as I know, we're the only board in the state of South Dakota that has a public comment period at the beginning and the end of each meeting. And we were recognized at our National Association of County Officials newsletter for open government and transparency. And that's something that I'm pretty proud of, and many people have utilized over the last 3 years, is the ability to come in, address your local government and leave, or come in late, stay to the end, and address your local government. And so that's, I guess, something I've done for transparency, and I think it's been good for our community.
Yeah, I would agree with you that transparency is incredibly important, and having the ability to watch meetings and not have to attend in person has been a great value for the community, so they can go back in when it's convenient for them to be able to continue to be involved in government.
It's been great, and I know it helps people understand sometimes the reasoning for the decision we have. Sometimes you'll just read in the paper that this was the decision, and you don't know why. They can go back and watch the video and say, oh, well, maybe that makes sense. One other thing I wanted to address, if I still have time, is improving infrastructure, roads and bridges. That's been a major part of my platform since I was elected. And I've had lots of comments saying that our roads and bridges are getting better. We still have work to do, but in the last 3 years, we've replaced over 10 county bridges and over 70 new culverts. And those are all projects that have been done on time and under budget, stretching our tax dollars out as far as we can go. We've also got a grant to completely replace Stone Church Bridge in the northwest corner of the county, and that's a bridge that is failing, and if we didn't replace it, we'd have to close that road. We got a little over $3 million bridge improvement grant from the state. Roughly 20% of the entire bridge improvement budget is going to just that bridge, and that's something we should all be proud of, that the state believes in that enough that they're going to do $3 million. So roads and bridges, infrastructure throughout the county is going to, if I'm reelected, is going to continue to be a top priority for us.
Well, thank you very much for that, because there is nothing inexpensive about replacing a bridge, no matter which county that you're in here in South Dakota. And just for the viewing audience, are planning commission meetings live streamed as well, or just the county commission
Yes, they
meetings?
are. Yep. All of our meetings are to include the drainage commission meetings.
And those are all found on the Yankton County website?
Yep, county website. We have a YouTube website, and then also on Facebook.
Wonderful. Well, Dan, thank you very much for joining us today. And for the voting audience, once again, June 7th, or absentee voting is available. Make sure and bring your photo ID, please. Thank you.